So welcome back, everybody. Springtime around here always seems to be the time of year where I discover just how overgrown things have become. You know, during those winter months, the leaves fall off of the saplings and the vines and the briars that grow up underneath the canopy of the trees, and it looks like you've got halfway decent looking property, but then the springtime comes and those leaves start coming back and the stuff starts growing just unbelievably fast, and you realize just how bad it has gotten. Now, one of my goals here for this property is to get that stuff cleared out and get it all to a point where it can be easily maintained with the tractor and the mower that you see behind me. Now, it's not that I idolize my land, but it is really nice to have a sense of pride when you drive down your driveway and you can look out and you can just see nice low-cut underbrush. You can see trees, you can see all the really pretty stuff that's in there instead of all the briars and the chaff and the junk that just needs to go. And of course, this is just one part of being a good steward of your land. That cuts down on the risk of wildfires and brush fires, and it makes your property safer and a lot more visually appealing as well. Now, there are several options for me to get this done. I have a trimmer with a blade on it, and that would be a really good option if I had an acre or two, but there's just too many acres here. There's too much land here for that to really be a viable option. Once I started, it would take months, and once I got done, I'd have to start all over. Now, herbicide is another great option, but it just doesn't give me that gratification that I'm looking for, that instant gratification of just going through it, clearing it out. And the third option, of course, is the setup that you see behind me, the little Ford 3000 and a light duty mower. Now, of course, I really don't have the money to upgrade to a medium or a heavy duty mower, so we're going to set this up to cut heavier duty stuff than it was really ever designed to cut. Before anybody else gets to it, my PTO shaft is uncovered. That's one of the favorite things for my safety troopers to point out, and it's a valid concern. If your PTO shaft is old and uncovered like this, get yourself a cover. I'm just going to try to keep my hands and my feet out of it today. But let's go ahead and get started and see what we can get done. Now, there are several things that we're going to do to get this equipment ready for this. One of the most important things that you can do in any situation is to protect the mechanical integrity of your equipment. And one of the easiest ways and one of the most important ways to do this on a mower, if you do not have a newer machine with a slip clutch on it, is to make sure you've got a good low-grade pin right here, shear pin, bolt, whatever you want to call it, so that if you hit a stump or you hit a rock or anything that causes your mower to come to an abrupt halt, you're going to want this right here to break. Now, this is what happens right here. This is one I broke a while back. I probably hit a stump or something like that with this mower, and it performed exactly as it was supposed to perform. It breaks, and that prevents damage to your mower and also to your tractor. Now, just don't go into your shop and grab any bolt. Go to your local hardware store, get yourself a good low-grade soft bolt that'll go right in here, and get 5 or 6 of them and put them in the toolbox of your tractor, because you are going to break them if you do this very much. Now, don't just stick a grade 8 or a grade 5 bolt in here. You need something soft. If you put a grade 8 bolt in here, it's not going to break properly, and you're going to break your tractor or you're going to break your mower. I can't stress how important a good low-grade soft shear pin is for this. Also, make sure you've got the proper levels of gear oil in your gearbox on your mower. I checked this one a couple of days ago, so I'm not going to open it up right now, but this one right here is the indicator of how full it should be, and of course this one on the top is the one that you use to fill it. Something else that's very important is to make sure all of your grease fittings are properly serviced, that they're full of grease. Make sure those U-joints are properly lubricated. A little bit of grease here and there is going to go a really long way in longevity of your equipment. Now, not only the mower, but I think that one's probably full. I can't get any more grease up there. Nope. There it goes. There we go. So just make sure you got plenty of grease in these fittings, and that'll make your equipment last longer than anything else. Now this is probably the most important thing that you can do if you're going to be using a light duty rotary mower beyond its listed capabilities. Make sure your blades are sharp, and I don't mean just touch them up, make them a little bit sharp. I mean make sure they are really sharp. And the reason for that is if this machine is rated for 1-inch saplings and you plan on cutting 2-inch saplings with it, you're going to need sharp blades. You don't want dull blades that are just going to frail and sling stuff around, and you know, the sapling is going to be pushing up back against these blades and jarring your machine around, causing you a whole lot of grief and vibration. If you can get these just as sharp as you possibly can, they are just going to sail right through those little saplings like they're butter. So let's get these blades good and sharp, and we'll go get started. So guys, that's it. I hope that you can see the difference between the right side over here, or I guess it's my right, this side that's been done, and this left side, or my left side that has not been done. You see, it makes a really big difference. Now, would I recommend that you do this with your equipment? Probably not. It can be really abusive on the equipment. You've got to watch yourself. If you get a vine hung up on your front axle, which I actually like to do, I like to position the tractor so those vines get wrapped around the front axle so I can pull them out of the tree or break them off at the ground. But when you do that, you got to make sure that the top of the tree is not dead, or you're going to pull the tree on top of yourself. Vines can come up, briars can cut you up, you can break your equipment. I'll give you a walk around here in a minute and show you the tractor. It's pretty rough on equipment. It's rough on blades. It's really not what this machine was designed to do, but it will do it if you are really motivated and just want to get your land cleaned up. But let me give you a walk around of the tractor real quick, and then we'll walk around the land just a little bit to see what we accomplished. So guys, here's the tractor. You can see this is an older tractor. These little bug eyes on the side, you see how vines get wrapped around them. Of course, that's fixable, but you know, it doesn't make it any better on the equipment really. You can see this got dented in. That's not a big deal. I can fix that without any trouble. You can get a lot of stuff in your sucked in from your radiator fan, even down in there. I don't think you can see it, but there's a lot of leaves stuck on the radiator housing. We do a walk around here. You can see all the trash that's up on the machine. You run a high risk of busting tires doing this. I've done it before. Actually, stuff like this right here, you've really got to watch yourself. This is just a lightered, the remnants of a lightered stump, a heart pine stump, and that right there, man, that would go right through a tire and end your day for a while. Here's the machine, or here's the mower right here. Look at all the vines that it accumulates on the drive shaft, and that'll have to be cut off. And I mean, it really is just rough on equipment. You get good results, but it's very slow and it's rough on equipment. I actually lost, and this could have happened any time, but I actually lost this little linkage right here that holds the drawbar chain, well, not drawbar chain, but the lift arm chain onto the left side, and I had to find a bolt and some washers to put that back on because this drawbar, I mean, this lift arm was hitting on this tire, and of course that's not going to work. But I mean, yeah, if you decide to do it, just be aware that you're gonna abuse your stuff. But this is now a lot of really nice usable space. That up there on that hill obviously has not been done, but this area has. That over there, I have not been able to see through those trees in years. It has been so overgrown and awful. I haven't been in here in years because of the underbrush and briars and vines. Made it completely impassable. And I guess this is a pretty good comparison. You can see the other side of the creek. You see how overgrown that is. And if we pan, there's the creek right there, and if we pan to this side, you can see how nice and pretty that is. Alternatively, you can hire somebody with heavy-duty forestry equipment. They're going to charge you a fair amount of money, but it will save your equipment and be a lot safer for you. This one was probably the biggest tree that we cut down with the mower. It's a small oak tree, and it is about a 2-inch sapling, and that is really way out of the bounds of the capabilities of that machine. And also you might want to come back with a chainsaw or a trimmer with a blade on it and knock this back flat, because this essentially got cut as a spear. That's probably going to dry and make an excellent puncture point for one of your tractor tires, and it will be a back tire because those are the most expensive ones. So you might want to come back and knock that down so you won't have all that grief to deal with next year. Now, hopefully, as you saw in the video, the mower really shines against stuff like this small stuff. That's probably well within the bounds of its capabilities, and it'll just zip through that kind of stuff and smaller. Now, with stuff like this, that's a little more difficult for it. It'll do it, but you kind of got to nibble at it, and you just got to be really careful. But it will do it. Sometimes you have to go up a little bit higher at first and just kind of nibble it down until you've got it. But this right here can be a little rougher on the equipment, but it will get through it if you're patient and careful. So guys, that's all I've got for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember to hit that like button before you leave, and subscribe if you have not already, and I will see you next time.